It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. We are still streaming, and it looks like we won't be going to the film in the theater for a long time. The COVID restrictions are coming down on us one more time. So, in the meantime, directors and actors beware, as even though we're not at the cinemas, you still cannot hide from the rage. My name's Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hello, Jim.
Hey.
And Murray.
Yo.
So, with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Okay, well, thanks to all who have been supporting us in our independent podcast. And if you love our independent podcast, please support us and the growing Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. All members get special episodes and content only for members. Along with all members that sign up will get a special limited edition Film Rage merch item. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. I have some terrible news to announce today, though. Our adopted state, Virginia, I'm sorry, but you have been taken over by a brand new state. Our new favorite state, because we're just podcast whores. We are now selling our souls to the fantastic ski state of Colorado. Go Rams!
Go Rams!
Go Rams!
I made some money on the Rams on occasion. Colorado Rams.
Yeah.
And now we're making money on the listeners.
I got a quality football program there.
Yeah.
They do.
Boy.
Sure.
And
Colorado.
Colorado.
Do you think the people in Colorado know how to dance?
I'm sure they do.
They do. But first, Canyon Meadows Cinemas are open for their delicious concessions. Popcorn, corn dogs, mini donuts, and more. Open Thursdays 4 to 9, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday 12 to 9 for takeout via curbside pickup. Just go to canyonmeadows.ca and enter your order. And by the way, by being one of our faithful Film Rage listeners, you can get 15% off. Just enter the promo code RAGEON. That's RAGEON to claim your 15% discount. Or, if you would rather have your snacks delivered, that is possible as well through Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, and DoorDash throughout Calgary. For more details, visit canyonmeadows.ca. And here, CMC would like to thank you for your continued support, and we hope to see you again soon at the cinema.
Streaming in. What?
We're streaming, Jim.
Always streaming.
Alright, so we're going to start with a little video on demand action.
VOD, baby.
Because we just could not wait to see Mortal Kombat.
I'm pretty sure I could wait.
The most exciting movie of this year, I swear.
Alright, so Mortal Kombat, the 2021 version, based on the 30-year-old video game Mortal Kombat, returns in movie version. This was first attempted in 1995 with the original Mortal Kombat movie that, while it was not terrible, it suffered from the fact that the video game was more violent than the movie. Then 2 years later, in 1997, we got a sequel that buried the cinematic franchise for almost 25 years, as it was unwatchable. Fast forward to today, and we have an attempt to bring the video game to life one more time. This time we get a more graphic version, more true to the violence of the original game. The movie started out very strong as we got a stunning sequence set in 17th century Japan to set up the story. The choreography and the camera movements in this action sequence made me excited for the rest of the movie. And then the movie ground to a halt as we got what seemed like 2 hours of training that fell completely flat. The end was okay, but it could not save the film. This film had so much potential wasted from what the prologue at the beginning had seemed to have promised. We also got a pretty sad-looking CGI Goro character that, while it made me smile, it did so for the wrong reasons. And by the way, isn't Mortal Kombat supposed to be a tournament? Perhaps the movie should have not forgotten that, and we could have had more of an enthralling experience as the action sequences were the strongest part of the movie. Less training and more fighting would have equaled more entertainment. While this was definitely the best of the Mortal Kombats, and while the opening sequence of this was spectacular, the movie on the whole was meh.
Whoa. Are you sensing what I'm sensing, Murray? There might have been some candy going on.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a rage for sure.
Yeah, well, just wait. So, I know we are maybe a week late on this one, as we normally would like to have seen this last week, but our life was frozen, almost sub-zero for a week with watching Cuff. Huh. So much CGI blood, so much CGI action, so much CGI. Yeah, video game movies. Video game movies. Video game movies. Video game movies. I have a feeling that this movie was made for teenage boys who are either gamers or like playing or reminiscing of Mortal Kombat, the video game. I find it interesting that the marketing of the video game movies is trying to now create competitors in a superhero / comic book heroes universe. Although, did anyone see the plot lines of Enter the Dragon here potentially? Sub-Zero can zone in on one person with a direct mark, yet he kills the first dude and then he can't find the second dude. What? Is this like the Force? It kind of comes and goes when it's convenient for the story? I'm sure that's not it. That couldn't have been it. Plus, business transactions like paying somebody $3 million in a contract, you would think would have some prepayment options built in. And that's just my banker talking. I'm sure that's not true. Control B, shift up. I think that's all you have to do to get special powers and then go. Bionic arms, though, were very cool. Grandfather's coming back from hell to save you. This has everything in it to ensure a great CGI video game movie. I love that they built a team of combaters, a whole new superhero troupe. And by love, I'm meaning, what the fuck did they make this piece of shit movie for? And a better question is, why did I have to pay $25 of hard-earned Canadian dollars? Well, I can tell you. We are called Film Rage, not Film Moneybags. And this just adds to my level of rage about how bad this film was. So after watching this shit show, I happened to notice that the movie Jiu-Jitsu with Nick Cage was on rent for 99 cents. So now that's what I call Super Kung Fu. Nick Cage, as always, mesmerizing. And if you are going to watch a video game Kung Fu movie, it should, at minimum, have Nick Cage in it. Now, I'm not saying Jiu-Jitsu was much better.
It was crap.
But it did have superhero, to my heart, Nick Cage. Wait, sorry, what was I talking about? Oh, right, Mortal Kombat. 2000. Yeah, it was 2021 for $24.99. Yeah, this was awful. It's a rage. And by a rage, I mean, finish me. Wow. Although I did have a favorite line.
Yep.
Put your shirt on, Magic Mike.
I thought the first 10 minutes were excellent.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes were great. But the entire rest of the movie was so unwatchable.
Well, no, it made a promise in the first 10 minutes that it did not keep. It really did.
Why are you so generous? 10 minutes of a movie doesn't...
Because I loved the first 10 minutes. Like, absolutely adored it. I was
Yeah,
like,
but
I am
wasn't
so
there
stoked for the rest of this movie. And yeah, I was super disappointed from there on in. But you know what? That was majestic. That was so good. It was like, wow, this movie's gonna be awesome. And then it wasn't. It was meh.
It was okay. Apparently, you must have really liked the video game Mortal Kombat.
Nah,
that was a
you know what? That by the time we got to Mortal Kombat, all of a sudden we've got like a joystick and like 6 buttons. That's just too many for a video game. A video game should have 1 joystick and 1 giant red button that I can just beat the crap out of and move my man around. I don't need
You mean
6.
Atari?
I don't need exactly. I need
Yeah,
Atari.
Atari.
I don't need 6 buttons or 10 buttons or 47 buttons or whatever they've got now. I want 1 joystick, 1 action button, and I'm a happy camper.
That's why I sucked at those games.
Yeah.
Too many
Well,
combos.
I
Just
like
hit 6 buttons to do the combo right. That's stupid.
I like Tetris. It's easy.
Tetris is great.
When's the Tetris movie coming out? That's what I want to know. Because I have a
Solitaire.
feeling that one would be better. And it's probably going to be Russian with English subtitles. So
Yep.
stay tuned for that coming in a theater near you, hopefully.
Well, we're about to be Russian into the next review.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that is like the best segue we've ever done. So we also saw on Prime Stowaway.
Yeah.
A three-person crew on a mission to Mars faces an impossible choice when an unplanned passenger jeopardizes the lives of everybody on board. Directed by Joe Penna, written by Joe Penna, Ryan Morrison, and a bunch of people that we all know, maybe A/B+ actors.
Yeah, B+.
But it does. Yeah, I'd say B+. So the first 8 minutes, and I'm already bored. I'm not a fan of outer space movies at the best of time, and watching actors pretend they are taking off for 5 minutes, followed by pretending they are docking, never excites me. Couldn't they just cut the first 10 minutes of the show out and have them be in space when they start? Ugh. Then they started playing with their equipment for God knows how many minutes. Then seeing the ship, yeah. We have seen ships in space before. Where's the story, people? What is our story is the big question. Well, story and characters started to happen about 15 minutes in. So, we're already 15 minutes in. I'm already bored. And I'm like, okay, can we have a story here? I like every single one of the actors in this film. In fact, I not only like, but I absolutely love Toni Collette. Interesting, Mars film has a similar importance to vegetables as The Martian did. Huh. Mars doesn't apparently need women. They need vegetables. Ain't that right, my little vegan friend?
You probably need water, too.
Everyone needs more veggies.
Exactly. So, not that sci-fi stowaway movies are predictable or anything, but like most, someone stows away, then bad stuff happens. The crew tries to pull together to solve the problem that actually seemed super obvious, like, say, oxygen in another part of a ship. They had access to the entire time the whole movie was going on. They/someone will have to go outside. Yep, it's got that too. There will be some suspense things that happen. Maybe someone dies, maybe someone won't. Blah, 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 plus old plot, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't hate this, but I was completely bored and not surprised by anything that happens. There was not one thing in this movie I was like, wow, this is original and a new idea. I can't believe I'm seeing this. This is fantastic. It gets a really, 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 really low meh, but only because of the actors that are in it, and I love them all. Otherwise, it would be a rage.
That's something.
It is. So you're thinking I gave out candy now too? It's a candy week?
I think you gave out a little candy there.
Oh, snapperdoodles.
So I was really looking forward to this as writer-director Joe Penna's debut film, Arctic, starring Mads Mikkelsen, was one of my favorite movies of 2018. This was a stunning survival movie that kept me mesmerized for its entire duration. Now, 3 years later, we get this follow-up, a survival movie set in space instead of the Arctic. The fact of the matter is, I could not take any of the movie seriously after the introduction of Michael. I could not buy the fact that this Stowaway was on board. All I could think about for the rest of the movie is how he possibly could have been on board, and I did not understand. That sunk the whole production, as I was taken right out of the story from the beginning. This was very disappointing considering Penna's first effort, the aforementioned Arctic. Although from what I understand, he wrote this with his they are still co-writers, with his co-writer Ryan Morrison before Arctic. So perhaps his next feature will be more of well thought out and a more mature film that evolves from what Arctic showed us of their abilities. As for this film, it was a rage, as I could never buy what they were trying to sell me.
But didn't you love Toni Collette?
I always loved Toni Collette.
So you give out mad candy because of 10 minutes of filming.
No, 10 minutes of awesome filmmaking. This had 0 minutes of awesome filmmaking.
But it had a full 2 hours of Toni Collette.
Yeah, it did. Wasn't enough. It was a rage. Okay.
I get it. You know what?
I'm sad that she was in this movie. It makes me sad. She's better than this movie by
She now
so
has
much
to start all
movie.
over again. She was building up her resume for Undoubted.
It happens.
And now
I think you were raging on one of her movies reels not that long ago too, though. So you didn't like that horror movie she did. You thought that was
Hereditary?
Yeah. Wasn't that a rage?
I gave it a meh.
Oh, did you give it a meh?
No, it was a meh. Yeah, I gave it a meh. I liked it a little better than the one that the director did prior to that.
Fair enough.
But
for some reason, I thought you were raging on that, but whatever.
No, I had problems with it. I didn't think it was great. It was Midsommar that I was a little bit more ragey about.
Midsommar was awesome. I love that movie.
It was rage.
It was so awful. Good.
Well, actually, I did love the cliff scene. And I'm not. Now I have to rethink that, because that scene alone is almost worth a meh. But then I'd be totally pulling a Bryce. Okay, so we also saw on video on demand for this time it was on sale, $15.
Wow, what a deal!
Makes us holla. We saw.
We're spending more on movies, by the way, than we were when we were actually going to the theaters.
That is correct.
We could have seen 3 movies in theaters for the same price that we saw.
2, and we had to watch it on our crappy little screens. I had to watch it on my stupid little 77-inch screen. And
77 inches, so brutal.
I know.
I just finished watching Cuff on a 6-inch screen on my phone. 77-inch screen, whatever.
You can't even afford a real Thor Ragnarok poster. It's only like the mini size.
I got that at the premiere. Thank you very much. First night they were giving them out.
Nice. It's a good poster. All right. Well, what else did we see? Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking. Yeah, we did see that. Yes, we did. Video on demand. Okay. Chaos Walking takes place in a world where thoughts can be heard and seen by all those around. It is an interesting launching point for a movie that I would imagine worked better as a book. On film, I could never get used to the repetition of thought and speech in combination with the attempt to mask thoughts with other thoughts and so forth. It was all a little much for me as it goes on through the whole movie. It was hard for me to get into the story, which involved a lot of unsubtle statements as it relates to masculinity. The performances were fine. Both Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley were good, and I like the fact that they did not go all in on the romance between these, which was what I would have expected. This was more of an older sister, younger brother vibe for the most part. Mads Mikkelsen was at his campy best, taking his character as far as it could go without coming across as ridiculous. He was a pleasure to watch as usual, but the film can't get out of the way of its premise. And while the actors do their best to carry the film, the concept and lackluster writing are just too heavy for them to make this an enjoyable experience. Still, I got to watch Mads Mikkelsen ride around on a horse with his long coat and floppy hat. That was pretty mesmerizing. For that fact alone, Chaos Walking was meh. But that's the only reason, because of Mads Mikkelsen. So I
You
know
don't want to give a rage to Mads
I know I'm making an argument that I
He's
wasn't
done
making.
it. He's done it before, Murray.
Has he?
It's his fault. Mads Mikkelsen isn't.
Mads is not undoubted yet?
Just so we know. Nope, he's not.
Well,
Thanks to
that
Bryce.
sucked.
But thank God you gave him a mess, because he's got some in the bank.
Well,
He's got some in the bank.
And by the way, I'd like to qualify that it is a meh, but it's a really low meh. I love that floppy hat. That floppy hat, like, made the movie. If you do watch this movie, there's only one reason to watch it. The Mads Mikkelsen's floppy hat. It should get like a starring credit.
Hashtag Mads Mikkelsen's floppy hat.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to kind of laugh about this, because the only reason I really wanted to see this, well, other than you told me I had to see it, but was that I knew who the actors that were going to be in it. And I'll see anything that Mads Mikkelsen's in, because you know my love of Mads Mikkelsen. It's pretty severe.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure how they would do this. This is a portion of a book trilogy I read years ago. Didn't know until about 30 minutes in. I'm like, wait, this sounds really familiar. So then I stop the movie and I go to the internet and I'm like, holy shit. The original book is The Knife of Letting Go, which is a trilogy. And the book series is fantastic. It's kind of a young adult series, and it's really well done. I really loved the whole trilogy. The books were fantastic. This movie, being only one of the books, is a little, I'm just a little jaded. And of course, it's not a closed, finished story. So this had no hope of being a great film, in my opinion, right from the start. If I knew that they were building this trilogy, I might have been able to make it through. I did try to separate that and pretend I knew nothing about the book. But man, that's hard to do. When you've read a book that you really love and then you see a movie adaptation of it, and the writing, as Bryce had alluded to, is not the greatest, it made it really tough. I really like the plot of this film. When I originally read the books, the idea is such a great story. This, I felt, though, did not do a great job getting the full feel of what the book had to get across to us, especially how it ends. This, if this was going to be a sequel to finish off the story, this section has now fucked up the whole rest of the story, because the way they built this part is almost part of the second book, so it's weird. So I'm guessing there will not be a sequel. I really liked seeing Tom and Daisy and Mads all together doing different things. I also loved Mads' cute little floppy hat. I could not give this a full unbiased look, though, because of my feelings for the book. I did feel that they did okay with what they had to work with. I'm sad it was off from the book and it was rushed at the end. I found the ending was very rushed. I really actually like fantasy films. I almost think that they're, other than zombie, well, there's probably 20 genres before that, but then fantasy gets in there, like level 20, before things like slasher movies and whatnot. I didn't love this film adaptation, but I did love the book. It gets a low mat also from me.
There you go. Yeah, I kind of wish that they just scrapped the whole script and just watch Mads Mikkelsen ride around on that horse with his floppy hat and every time look at the camera and ride away again. That would have been great.
And give a little Mads look with his cute little grin.
Well, this should have been a Western then.
I tell you.
Yeah, maybe.
Him riding on a horse for 2 hours.
Maybe Mads is going to make a Western.
It had elements of Western in it.
Yeah, because he had the horse.
Yeah, go. All right.
So, yeah, you know what that sound is, people. We're talking about the last two movies we did not get a chance to review from the Calgary Underground Film Festival, which people can find at calgaryundergroundfilm.org. Even our U.S. and international listeners, you can still go on calgaryundergroundfilm.org and see the entire film library that we talked about last week. And super thanks to the world for all the listens we had. Last week was our biggest downloaded week we've ever had. So apparently Cuff is pretty popular. So we got to see a movie called Cryptozoo, which is a animated film by the director of My Entire High School Sinking into the Sea, which we also got to see a few years ago in 2016, I think at this very festival. So,
Yep.
Firstly, cartoon sex is still fun, especially freaky, dreamy cartoon sex, which is how this film starts. Plus, we get the benefit of virtually going to a crypto orgy. Hell yeah, crypto orgy. The animation style at times is very reminiscent, in my opinion, of early Bakshi stuff, yet very trippy. Love the feel of the natural artistry that these artists bring towards for this hand-drawn piece of art. I love this universe they created with the cryptos. I also like the slow pace of this film where it just slowly unwinds. The way it introduces you to each character and gives you little details that only a true artist would be able to inject into a film like this. I also loved that not so hidden message of anti-racism and conflict between zoo and safety, or jail and containment. The story was so original and interesting. I loved everything about this animated adventure fantasy for adults, especially, and when I say especially, those who listen to our pod know if you're going to have an orgy, it should be a motherfucking crypto orgy. Yeah, definitely the orgy. It's a mondo. But the most important thing was that we got to convert another vegan through all this, as the main character turns vegan at the end and lets the fish go. Hail vegans!
Yes. So, I liked their first film more. My entire high school sinking into the sea. This, while being visually quite appealing, the voice actors kind of put me to sleep. And that is too bad, as there was a lot of talent voicing this one. We had Lake Bell, Michael Cera, and the mesmerizing Peter Stormare. Yet, the film felt a little flat, even though it had an original concept and interesting visuals. Looking forward to what writer-director Dash Shaw does in the future, but this was meh.
Sad face.
Wah, wah.
I loved it. I loved this. I really loved it.
Yeah. Well,
Did you see it, Mers?
I tried. I honestly did.
Tried hard.
The cartoon sex at the beginning, didn't appreciate that too much.
What?
Especially knowing one of them was Michael Cera.
Yeah, Michael Cera, cartoon sex.
I did actually appreciate the unicorn scene, because who the hell would go up to a unicorn? I mean, they're dangerous. They have a horn. They kill people. But yeah, the whole crypto thing got a little weird on me, and the crypto orgies and stuff, and the animation. Just not really into animation at all. But yeah, I don't want to give it a rage, but it was definitely low meh. The half that I did see.
All right.
There you go.
Just wasn't my thing.
Well, as long as I got enough orgy for all of us, that's all that really matters.
You will always be on top of that.
Yep. And underneath it and around it and with a whole group of deliciously
over it.
crypto
Yep.
orgy participants.
What
What else did we see, little buckaroo?
I saw Kid Candidate.
We saw a short before that. What'd you think of Snowy?
Snowy. I don't remember. What was it
Oh
about?
yeah, right. I forgot about that.
It's a motherfucking tortoise, yo.
It's a turtle. It was a
Oh,
turtle.
I love
tortoise.
Snowy. That was a mondo.
That was a super
It was
mondo.
a turtle.
I forgot about Snowy. How could I forget about
No,
Snowy?
he was a tortoise. He was a tortoise, dude. He wasn't a turtle.
Whatever.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know Snowy personally.
Yeah. Snowy was mondo.
Okay, so what'd you think of Kid Candidate?
Kid Candidate. The story of 24-year-old Hayden Pedigo's candidacy for city council in Amarillo, Texas. It follows the unlikely candidate while also focusing on the corrupt city politics that are rampant in the city. It is an underdog story mixed with a political expose. The subject is likable, which makes it easy to root for him as he takes on the status quo. We watch him grow and mature as the campaign rolls on. He transforms himself from joke to serious candidate, and the doc does a really great job of showing us that transformation. I really like this film. It was meh.
All right. Mur, did you get to see this one?
I did. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, the kid was likable enough. You know, running for office anywhere in Texas, unless you're a Republican, is pretty much impossible anyway. So the ending was predictable. I knew what was going to happen. And the whole time I'm watching it, I kept thinking of what the hell is that movie with Justin Long and Louis Black, where it's like this kid is trying to do something, and like Louis Black is his, bitter old, foul-mouthed advisor. I actually liked the kid's advisor more than I did him. He should have run for office, but of course he said he wouldn't do that. But yeah, it was just okay. It was a meh, I guess.
Just okay. Yeah. Well, doc about a young man running for candidate in a municipal election in Amarillo, Texas. It was kind of fun and rebellious. The message was a little not focused with the kid candidate not really having a platform. Have seen this kind of doc in the past. It's a fight the power type message, but not much more. Was fun to me to go along, but overall it was meh. I kind of liked the whole concept of it, but I didn't feel the doc was really fleshed out. I guess maybe it's because I just wasn't really interested in. He didn't have a platform, so there was really no message other than it was just this guy who's got no platform is running for office, and I was kind of like, I would thought there would have been more politics in it. Like he would have developed some sort of platform. Even through the whole thing, it's like he didn't really have nothing. By the time he got to the end,
really.
Yeah, his whole platform was take down the status quo.
Yeah. Oh no, he appealed to the minorities well enough, and had a lot of the immigrants and
his platform was make the city better.
Yeah,
make the city great again.
Pretty lofty goal in Texas.
Was that really his message? Make the city great again? Yeah, I don't know. It's it's like anytime you have a political race and you have someone in there that's kind of the joke candidate. The fact that he made it to number 2 in the group of people running,
but the thing is, he started as a joke. I don't think he was a joke by the end of it.
Well, he still didn't have a platform. He didn't even understand.
It was all coming together as we went along. He had more of a platform at the end than he did at the beginning.
No, he still didn't have one because even his leader was kind of like the guy who was.
Wow, he wanted his platform to be legalize weed, so.
Which would have worked.
Well, I don't think it's a municipal thing. It's a state thing. He needed to run as a state representative.
No, he should have ran. Well, I guess he didn't run for president because he was too young. But yeah, run for governor. Why don't you?
Yeah.
Arnold could do it. Anybody can do it.
It sounds like it was a 3-banger, man. You know what that means, Bryce?
Yeah.
I do know what that means.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve.
Whoops. Even Steve agrees.
There's 3 mehs. It took a while. Are you ready one more time?
Maybe Steve also thinks it's bad. All right. Well, so here's the time where we're going to quickly break down our favorite films of the festival.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
That's what it says here.
When you read the agenda, it kind of spells that out.
What? There's an agenda?
Yeah, there's an agenda. Murr, did you do your homework?
Barely.
All right.
Well, as I previously mentioned, this is not really the fault of Cuff, but due to most of my faulty equipment, I was forced to watch films on my phone, which is not the optimal way to do it. So, of course, I didn't watch as many as you guys. But I tried to watch some of the bigger ones.
I only watched all of them.
You always only watch all of them, but I did not watch all of them. I got to maybe 15 or 20 at the most.
Hey, man, that's a good effort. You can get 5 movies out of there, so you're doing good.
There you go. Well, I'm going to start with the shorts, because bottom line is I really didn't like most of them. I only watched the one shorts package, but the shorts before most of the movies, just nothing really was that great. 2 really stood out to me. Of course, Ballad of Sharkosaurus, which I will always plug because of our buddy Spence. And the other one I really enjoyed was Stuck, about the gymnastics teacher. That was like, dick kicking revenge at its finest. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, okay. So we'll go now with my top 5 of the cuff 2021.
Number 5.
You'll appreciate most of these. First one was Vicious Fun. I wouldn't give it a Mondo, but it was.
Is it number 1 or is it number 5?
No, this is 5. This is 5.
Okay.
I had to do things the Bryce way. I started with 5.
Attaboy. Fallen Rhymer.
Never. I rebel everything. Number 4 is Together, which I really enjoyed, even if you guys didn't, because it's my kind of movie. Number 3 was Censor, which I also really loved. I gave that a Mondo because I thought it was gory and wonderful, and it was, set in the 80s, which was awesome, in video stores and VHS tapes, and that's my kind of film. Number 2, which almost made number 1, Riders of Justice, with the aforementioned Mads. It was number 1 for a long time. For about a week, it was my favorite movie.
And then it got bounced.
It got bounced by the last movie I saw, or one of the last, besides the 2 we just talked about, was The Last Matinee. Was friggin' phenomenal. And as I previously mentioned, for years I've been wanting to shoot a movie in a movie theater, and these bastards stole my idea and did better than probably I could ever do it. So even though it had 2 strikes against it, it was a foreign film and it had subtitles, I still enjoyed it because it was gory.
This is like a record Merman moment.
Anyway, so that was my top 5.
A movie that's Mondo that you had to read stuff? This is awesome.
No, I hate
this
doing
is
that.
Now, hope for the future for the rest of humanity. That if Murray can watch a international film and give it a Mondo, then everybody else in the world should be able to read subtitles also.
It takes a lot to get me to do that, though.
All right, B, you want me to go next while you still work out your shit?
Nah, I'll go next. 5, So Late, So Soon. 4, Riders of Justice. 3, Keyboard Fantasies, the Beverly Glenn Copeland story. 2, Alien on Stage. And 1, The Last Matinee.
What?
And for the shorts, I don't really remember. What was that one we talked about just today? The one with the tortoise?
Snowy?
Snowy.
I liked Snowy. What other ones did I like, Jim?
You liked Bubble and you liked Aquatic Bird, both the Chinese ones.
One
I did.
Guy, you liked that one.
I liked the one where he was like eating the veggies.
Yeah, that's Bubble. One. That's number 1.
Yeah, okay. There's my top 3 shorts.
Whatever.
All right. Well, are almost the same as Bryce's because, I kind of led him to, the same end. My number 3 was Forgive My Father, which was the gooey story of the dad who eats his wife and then gets his kid to, get the neighbors to be eaten.
Right.
Number 2 was Aquatic Bird from China, which was a very long short, but it was so well done and so much adventure. It kind of had influences of Amelie to me. It was like a Chinese version of Amelie. I just really loved it. But then number 1 is definitely the vegetarian man becoming the carnivorous treat. Good. Okay, so my top 5, there is some overlap from both of you two. Number 5.
Really? You like So Late, So Soon as much as I did?
No, I said somewhat. I did not like that, Sam I Am. I did not like it in my box. I did not like it on my thoughts. So my number 5 was Cryptozoo because I fucking love orgies, especially when they're
cartoons. Yes.
Number 4 was Keyboard Fantasies, the Beverly Glenn Copeland story. Number 3 for me was The Last Matinee. So it made all 3 of ours top 5. My number 2 was The Old Man movie because I cannot get enough tree sex, and that scene alone was enough the price of admission. And my number 1, I want to say it, I haven't said it for a while, with a bullet, was Censor for me. I freaking loved that movie. That's it. That's my cuffs. That's our cuff story. We are done cuff for the year.
Thank you, Cuff.
Wow, there'll still be some other cuff stuff. We're just done with. Plus, we got cuff docs. We got special screens from Cuff. Off the cuff events.
We got drive-ins.
We got nothing but cuff coming up.
That's right.
But that's it for the festival until next
Yeah,
week.
people who are listening, especially our U.S. I'd like to remind our U.S. listeners, because we now have more U.S. listeners than Canadian listeners, that even though some of these movies will be geo-blocked, these top 5 from each of us are all fantastic films, except for the ones that Bryce picked. But that you should definitely check out around the globe when you get the opportunity to see some of these films. If you can't get access to our favorite festival, Calgary Underground Film Fest, you can find them at your own local film festivals, I'm sure, and they will be available to rent and buy this year, I'm sure.
All right.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
So that really does segue for me into my rage this week, which is geo-blocking. I don't fully understand the concept of geo-blocking. I don't understand why it exists. I don't understand when we have other festivals, like last year, Bryce and I saw a significant amount by South by Southwest, and we were able to get access to it. Yet, when our friends from Calgary Underground Film Fest are having their festival on, it's geo-blocked like nobody's fucking business. So the rest of the world doesn't get access to that. No, I kind of get it in the sense that, you know, if people are seeing it at Cuff, then they may not be able to see it at, you know, other festivals that go on in the States. But, I mean, come on. The world is too small for us not to get access to these films. And, you know, the same thing was with, we can't necessarily get access to films like the Boston Underground Film Fest, which is another amazing festival. So for people who have access to that festival, I am also jealous, right? Like these are things that, you know, especially in our time of COVID, they should find ways to loosen up some of these geo-blocking. That is my rage this week. I want to be able to see whatever I want to see whenever I see it, and I can't even see it in the theaters, so that's my rage.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, you're happy about geo-blocking?
I'm not happy about it, but I get it. You know, film festivals overlap a lot, and you know, you're taking away the audience from your local film fest sometimes if you get to watch it for somewhere else before it gets to yours. So I don't know. It's hard.
We still would have bought a pass anyway. Like if we would have been able to see, let's say, and you're not every festival.
Yeah, we would.
Right, but think about it. If everything. If everything was open, they're not like South by Southwest, for example, which is before our festival. If it was playing, it wasn't gonna have all the same movies as Cuff, so it might have had 2 or 3 that maybe played Cuff. So we might have saw those 3 before we saw Cuff, but we still would have rewatched them if they were good.
Well, I mean, maybe if they wanted to geo-block the international stuff, like the bigger, like that Together, which came out in theaters, I mean, maybe geo-block that, but. Like Canadian and Alberta produced films, why wouldn't you let everybody watch them? Because they're not going to make it to a theater.
Yeah,
Like,
they may not make it to other festivals.
like
either,
if you pay your $8 or $10 or whatever it is they pay for individual prices, they should be able to watch it whatever, whenever. But
Murr, thanks for jumping on that bandwagon.
I still prefer to see stuff in theaters. As
Well,
you know,
is that would be our true rage? We could just rage about that
Yeah.
every week.
every week.
All right, I am literally passing you the baton, Bryce.
All right. As I predicted, the Academy Awards went and gave the Best Supporting Actor trophy to Daniel Kaluuya, who starred in the movie that made up 40% of the category, as Lakeith Stanfield was also nominated. Neither role was supporting. They were the focus of the film, and it took away the trophy from more deserving folks that actually fit the definition of a supporting actor. Namely Paul Raci from The Sound of Metal. That's my rage.
So, if you're going to repeat rages from previous episodes,
It's not a repetition. It's just saying I was right. I'm not repeating it at all. I was predicting it then. Then it came to fruition. So if anything, I'm angrily patting myself on the back because I deserve it.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, same reason why they can give Judi Dench a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for, what was she, 8 minutes in that film? That was Shakespeare. She had like an 8-minute scene and it was actually a supporting actress. That's a cameo. Whatever.
I'm more okay with that than for someone who's in the movie the whole time, the whole frickin' thing. And the movie's actually called Judah and the Black Messiah, and the two people that are nominated for supporting actor are Judah and the Black Messiah. Then
They should have been.
I got
both
more of a
lead
problem with that.
actors. They both.
Yeah, but
should
they
have been
wouldn't have made the
actors.
category. That's the point.
Yeah, they gotta get on this category and actually give it to supporting. Like, that is ridiculous. It's absolutely
Again,
I still think
ridiculous.
they
You're
have
talking
way
about the
too many.
Oscars.
I still think they have way too many fucking awards, and they just need to have one lead person and one supporting person, and move on.
There you go. They should just have one trophy, period. It shouldn't be the Academy Awards. It should be the Academy Award. And just give whoever was the best.
What about the lighting?
Hollywood?
What about the lighting? What about the sound?
Maybe
What about the editing? What about
but maybe that's who wins it that year. That's the whole thing. The Academy Award would be open to everything. But we got to pick one. Are we giving it to the lighting? Are we giving it to the director?
Well, no,
Are we giving it to a writer? Are we giving it to an actor? Are we giving it to an actress? We just give one, and then it's going to be more prestigious.
No, you're talking about Best Pictures. What are you talking about?
No,
Your
that's
idea-
not what I'm
Best Pictures
talking about at
overall.
all.
Your idea is the stupidest idea.
It is the
ever.
best
Come on.
idea
agree.
ever. And just think, the Academy Awards, instead of going like for 4.5, 5 hours, like 2 minutes. Done. We've given away the Academy Award, not awards. The award. Done. Everybody
For
goes
best-
home happy.
For one
best,
category.
for best
yeah.
blank.
For
The
just
Academy Award
for
this year
just
for best blank.
best. The Academy
on-screen
Award for
kiss.
best goes to
It's not the Teen Choice Awards, Murray.
Well, you might as well if you're gonna do that. Best fight scene.
Rage.
There you go.
Subsiding.
That's the Oscar.
Pulse. Slowing. Anger fading.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve.
We'll start that
what the hell
again
are you
because
doing?
you started laughing, even though I'm trying to be professional here.
Hey everybody, I'm
That's a
Steve.
And I'm
Sure
Izzy.
you are.
And this is
Okay, we'll start it one more time.
This is a promo for our buddies at Everything I Learned from Movies podcast. Go, Bryce.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve.
And I'm Izzy.
And this is
Everything I Learned from Movies.
And tonight,
Tonight.
like every night, we bring you questionable movies and pass the lessons that we've learned on to you, as well as we go over some great beer and funny third thing.
Yes, we're excellent beer reviewers, and as BJCP certified beer judges, we sort of know what we're talking about in regards to that. The movies?
So if you want to hear us talk about odd movies and Izzy talking about BJing,
Woo!
listen to us at eilfm.podbean.com. That's everything I learned from movies.podbean.com.
Hey, honey, are you ready to pop that top? Woo! My top!
There's a lot of sexualization.
Yeah.
I
Are they married?
not
Are they married
only
or
want to. I don't know, but I want to go hear her talk about BJs.
Doesn't.
I don't.
All right, Mur. Give us
All right then.
cheese, baby.
Okay, here comes the cheese. All right, this week I'm going to talk about best Scandinavian actors. Being Scandinavian myself, I feel like an authority on the subject.
You are.
Unfortunately, there were no Norwegian actors that made the cut because they're just not famous enough, but they're still awesome in their own rights. So, as per Bryce's rules, I will start with number 5. That would be Viggo Mortensen. Technically, he's an American, but his father was Danish. He's lived in Denmark, and he speaks Danish fluently. That to me counts. I only
He's number
mentioned
5? What?
yeah, I only need to mention Lord of the Rings, History of Violence, Eastern Promises, and The Road. I don't think I've ever seen him be anything but brilliant. Doesn't hurt that he's a true Renaissance man, too, with his art, poetry, music, and on top of his acting. And he's a Montreal Canadiens fan. Go Habs.
Yeah, I got a Vigo boner. I'm on side for that.
All right, number 4. Max von Sydow from Sweden/France. He's Swedish, but he lived in France. We lost him last year, unfortunately. His last significant role was a small part in The Force Awakens, but he had a lifetime of memorable performances. Flash Gordon, Minority Report, Shutter Island, Judge Dredd. Nobody played comic book evil better than Max. And who could forget his delightfully sinister Brewmeister Smith in Strange Brew? Did you know he was the voice of Vigo the Carpathian in Ghostbusters 2? Enough said.
Wow.
Number 3, you mentioned already, Peter Stormare from Sweden. You may not know his name, but you sure as hell know his face. Fargo, Armageddon, Minority Report, Constantine, Jurassic Park Lost World. If Hollywood needs a bad guy with an accent, they call him. Peter Stormare is the kind of actor who can have a tiny little part and still have a great impression. Number 2, of course, the great Mads Mikkelsen. I was going to include both brothers, but I'm not really crazy about his brother's acting. Mads is probably one of the 2 brothers you know the most. You know him from Casino Royale, Valhalla Rising. Usually plays a villain or an anti-hero, probably due to his accent. His last 2 films were an Oscar-winning film, Another Round, and The Outstanding Riders of Justice, which just ran at Cup. Will be out later this year, somewhere. And he played Hannibal Lecter. All right, number 1, this is a little biased on my point, but I'm going to go with the Skarsgård men, the entire family from Sweden. Of course, you know Stellan Skarsgård. Since the early 80s, he's been in a lot of movies. Breaking the Waves, Good Will Hunting, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Avengers, Thor films, Mamma Mia. He still actually makes quite a few Scandinavian movies, too. My personal favorites were Somewhat Gentle Man from 2010, which I saw at SIFF, and Our Kind of Traitor, which co-starred my other favorite actor, Ewan McGregor. It was an awesome movie. He played a Russian on that one. His son Alexander is also an amazing actor. He is known for his role as Eric Northland in True Blood, which, sorry, Bryce, is a TV show. His film acting career isn't as impressive as his father's, but he's coming into his own. From the recent Godzilla vs. Kong, he was in that. The Hummingbird Project, which also ran at SIFF, and Legend of Tarzan. He will probably become as great as his father. And we also have Gustav Skarsgård. He's the kind of actor who kind of sneaks up on you and amazes you without really realizing what happened. He hasn't done many films, but he was absolutely awesome in the Vikings TV show. Yes, I know, a TV show. Then we have Bill Skarsgård. He's an up-and-coming actor. Hasn't done much, but people will know him as Pennywise in the recent It films. And finally, there's Walter Skarsgård, who's only 18, but who knows what he's going to do. But that's just a phenomenal family, all from Sweden. But,
what? They're part of the same family? Seriously? They're brothers?
Yeah, that's all of his sons. He's got like 4 sons, all in acting.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why he's one of like my top 3 favorite actors ever, Stellan. He's awesome. So that's all I got.
Murray, that list is outstanding. And 3 of those people on your list are on our mesmerizing list. So what does that tell you?
That works out then.
Apparently you're not kidding. There's some pretty good Nordic stuff.
Well, I had to pick 5. That was the only 5. There's a lot more than that. And I didn't go to the actress side because most of the actresses are from like the 30s and 40s, like Greta Garbo, Ingrid Bergman. But they also make great actresses too.
The best. Okay, well, this week on the lists, Brycey had asked us to make sure that we talk about Anders Thomas Jensen.
He's wrote so much that I thought that he actually had a lot more directing, but he's only got 5 films.
Way to go.
Well, he can't really be on any list then, could he?
He can't.
No, but he can be started.
But he's sure as heck on deck.
He's up and coming.
He's 5 for 5 Mondos, in my opinion.
No.
Well, let's have it, buddy.
Have you got the list in front of you of his films?
I do,
I
but I
don't.
thought you were going to be organized enough to bring
Nah,
them.
I'm not organized at all. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true. So his very first film was Valgaften, or Murray, how do you pronounce Valgaften?
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, sure. Sounds good enough to me.
Valgaften. I'm not.
Sure.
I don't have that sweet accent. Which,
Sweden?
yeah, it's freaking brilliant. It's a mondo for me.
Absolutely mondo.
Then he did Blinkendy Lingertier.
Oh my god.
Lingered.
Sounds like a Swedish chef.
It's perfect. It's also mondo.
It's Blinked the Lighter. Yeah, it's freaking awesome. And it's also got our boy Mads in it.
It does.
Then he did The Green Butchers, which could be possibly one of my favorites. Also has Mads in it.
Yeah, it's
I
also
freaking
mondo.
love that film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking love that film. Then he was in Adam's Apples, which I think probably is Bryce's favorite.
That's my favorite. Yep.
Yeah, it's also freaking outstanding. And then followed up, well, actually, I think he might have 6. He did Men and Chicken, which was also freaking awesome, which also has Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, he works with a lot of the same people when he directs.
And then
it doesn't stop with Mads Mikkelsen,
which is also Mads Mikkelsen.
You'll also notice that a majority of the cast that's in that is also in about 2 or 3 of the other movies you mentioned there. So.
Yeah, actually, you're right though, because Valgaften is a short.
Yeah, that's what I was going. There was 5.
Yeah, there's only 5. Yeah. I can't. And so his upcoming doesn't have anything listed as upcoming. So we're just gonna.
Well, his last thing was Riders of Justice. I think he did very well with that.
Oh yeah, that was a mondo for all of us.
I think he's got something on deck, doesn't he? I thought I saw something.
Maybe as a writer, but not maybe as
maybe
his upcoming projects that he's writing. The Monster of Florence. Which I have no clue who's going to direct it. Yeah. And Redemption, he's writing a screenplay for it, which is an American film, so it's probably going to be his first Rage.
You think?
Probably not. I don't think that guy can do any wrong. So
yeah, but if he's writing it and not directing it, then we could be in trouble.
That is true. But, well, no, we can't, because if he's writing it and not directing it, we don't have the lists for writing.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that it could still mean that it's going to be bad.
It could be. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you guys got anybody else to add?
You know what? I actually did think of somebody, then I forgot, then I just thought of him again. But
perfect.
Sweet.
I don't know if he's on a Mesmerized yet, but recently, again due to the Oscars, Thomas Vinterburg. He's directed 25 films. His last one, obviously, Another Round, which won the Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
He did Far From the Maddening Crowd. The Command, I'm not sure about that one. The Hunt, again, a Mads movie.
Yeah, that was
did a Metallica film. I think he's incredible.
No, he didn't direct Some Kind of Monster, did he? Is that the Metallica film?
Doesn't say he did. He may have wrote it, though.
No. You said he did a Metallica film.
Oh, something about Day Never Come or something?
Oh, okay,
Day Never Comes. Well, you're the metal fan. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, that must have been like I have no idea either. Might have been a concert.
Metallica,
film.
The Day That Never Comes, 2008. Oh, sorry, it was a short. Sorry.
Okay. So, yeah.
Anyway, I think at the very least, I don't know if he can be mesmerizing because he's a director, but his films are pretty freaking good, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he can't be mesmerizing as a director because he's not on screen. But we could look at
if you wanted
films.
to have a look at some of his other films and let me know if you think he's Undoubted, because I think he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, even did The Hunt. Yeah,
also a Scandinavian.
He's got a great.
There's a couple of blanks I'll have to fill out there where I didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take this one offline. Yeah, that's a great one to put forward, Mur. He's most of his stuff is great because he did Another Round, which we've all reviewed back when it first came out.
At SIF, yeah, we saw it at SIF.
I think it was a meh though.
It was a
I
meh
gave it
for
a
me.
Mondo.
Yeah,
I gave it a
think
Mondo.
was-
Yeah.
Well, you guys loved it.
I
we
gave it a
liked it
meh.
a lot. We'll have to go back and look because
I
we've
liked
got
it.
everything on our website.
Yep.
That's a good one, Mur. That's a great one.
All right, there you
He's
go.
on deck also. Then we'll have to do a bit of review and see if we've seen his
All right.
stuff. Good one. I'm gonna take one off of Mur's list. I'm gonna go Viggo Mortensen as Mesmerizing.
He isn't on there yet?
Nope.
Nope.
Viggo
Well,
Mortensen.
I definitely say yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I'll go Viggo Mortensen can absolutely be mesmerizing. In fact, he is.
So in fact, he is. There we go. So we got someone on the list today, people.
There we go.
Okay.
Alright.
Was that it? Okay.
That's it.
All right then. Sorry, I have trouble hearing the sound, the music. That's all. We're back from Cuff and ready to rage. This week on Rage or Dare, one of our fantastic listeners, Scott from the podcast Shoot the Flick, has bought us a movie rental and has dared us to see the 1995 film Theodore Rex. Was that last week? Have we finally got a qualified listener who understands how to make our rage, or will the EGOT holder Whoopi have the ability to make us laugh ourselves stupid? Check with Bryce first to see if he's finally happy to rage. Bryce, please tell us what the level of film rage you are with Ted Rex.
Alright. Theodore Rex. Yeah. The movie that was so bad that Whoopi Goldberg tried to sue her way out of it. She did not succeed.
As she should.
But she did, hold them up for another $2 million or something ridiculous. I think she was supposed to get $3 million. She ended up getting $5 million to be in it. But she literally, and the only reason she did that because it was going to cost too much in the courts to try to get out of it. So she finally said, okay, fine, I will be in it, but pay me like $5 million. And they said, all right. So it's got, this almost shouldn't have been reviewed by us because it was actually, it was straight to video in the United States. It never got a theatrical release. However, across the globe, it did get put into theaters. So I guess it qualifies. It has the honor of being the most expensive straight-to-video movie ever. I think it clocked in at like $33 million or something ridiculous and went right to video in the U.S., not around the world. Its box office numbers are sad. If you care to ever look it up, they will bring a tear to your eye because you'll be laughing so hard. Yeah, this is exactly what I've been looking for like it seems months now. This was freaking unwatchable. This was so bad that it's one of those movies where the whole time you're not even watching the movie, you're just repeating to yourself, how did this get made? How did this get made? How on earth did somebody decide that this had to be made into a feature film? What is going on? This is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. I mean, it's in the top 10 worst movies ever made in the history of movies. It was painful to watch. Every single scene, and it didn't even make sense. Honestly, I have no idea what the story was. I have no freaking clue. I have no clue what the story was. Somehow Whoopi Goldberg is teaming up with a dinosaur to solve some... I don't even know. I'd like to give you a synopsis, but I have no idea what I was watching.
You know what we did?
I don't know. It was so bad that I am currently speechless. It was...
Yeah, that takes a lot.
It was awful. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention because this movie, I wasn't even on my radar. And oh my goodness gracious, this was an excruciating experience that is what the Rage or Dare segment is all about. It's about showing me a movie so bad that I'm like, wow, I can never get that time back ever again. And this movie I will remember for the rest of my life. And that is not a good thing. So congrats. This is what we're looking for. Anybody that's putting forth a Rage or Dare, please watch this movie. This is what you're shooting for. Not stuff that's campy, not stuff that's so bad that it's painful to watch. Like Theodore Rex. What'd you think, Jim?
Well, let me first read what IMDb says is the actual plot of this story.
I don't know. Yeah, what was it?
In an alternate futuristic society, a tough female police detective is paired with a talking dinosaur to find the killer of dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals, leading them to a mad scientist bent on creating a new Armageddon. That's exactly what this movie was.
Could have fooled me. I have no idea that's what it was
the
about.
dinosaur talked.
Oh, yeah, it talks.
That makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Well, she's teaming up. It's the future, but there's dinosaurs. Yeah. So at first glance, I'm guessing this maybe have been influenced by that stupid show Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But on second thought, I'm like, Whoopi Goldberg as an action star? Nope, not seeing it. No, I'm sorry, Whoopi. In a sci-fi film? No. No, wait. Whoopi in a comedy. Normally, that is where she would be. But no, that's not it. Wait. What was this? Oh, right. We just learned what this was. I literally had a segment that I wrote, Bryce, I'm sorry, but what was this about?
I don't know.
Why was there a dinosaur in this? And a talking one to boot? Wait, did I miss something? This film is so awful. It's just like it is trying to capitalize on a moment in time. Either Whoopi Goldberg's fame coming off a few really big hit titles, and I also don't know what the fuck a talking dinosaur was coming off of. But I tell you, I wasn't coming about anything after seeing this movie. I'm guessing that the show Dinosaurs High came out of 1991 to 1994, and maybe they thought people were missing their dose of talking fucking dinosaurs, so they made this movie. Funny? No. Detective style intrigue? No. Action packed? No. Interesting? No. Career ending for Whoopi? Apparently not. In any world, I am trying to think who this was made for. It's rated PG, so maybe, just maybe, it was made for tweens who like dinosaurs. But to see this 25-plus-year-old's film later, I am stupefied by why anybody would think this was good in any era. Apparently, most people would agree with us because it got a 2.5 on IMDb, which is probably 2.5 higher than it should have.
Dessert.
Yeah, it completely does the job Scott fully intended, which was this movie was so fucking raging rage.
To him.
Scott from Shoot the Flick, well played, buddy.
Well played.
Well played.
Yeah.
This is what we need.
Well, I thankfully didn't see this, nor do I intend to, but I have a couple of trivia tidbits just to add to your pleasure on this one. Apparently, the crew members were leaving constantly during the production. Goldberg said that at the end of the final day, 99% of the crew was different from the first day. They just kept quitting. And apparently, most of the actors who signed on thought that the dinosaur would be CG. Probably because of Jurassic Park, but I guess the dinosaur was not computer generated. It was a guy in a suit.
Yep.
Wow, sounds awesome.
Yep.
So I'm almost afraid to bring this one forward that we've got dared. Oh no, wait, this is not the same. Hold on. So there is a movie from 2011, but I can't find it. We were dared to see the movie Frailty.
I've heard of it.
That's with Matthew McConaughey, isn't it?
Is it?
I thought I wanted to say it was Paxton was in it, but
well, that was the 2001 version, but we were dared to see the 2011 version.
Oh,
which I don't know, but apparently that's a thing. There's a lot of frailties. There's a
Well, did
2018.
it specify the year or just any?
Yeah, it was 2011. You know what? It's got so many different years on it, but apparently it's available on Prime. So if we can go
There you
find
go.
Frailty on Prime, that's the one we're supposed to see.
All right then.
Okay.
So that'll be for next week. We'll be watching Frailty.
Are we going to go back to the bags anytime soon?
Well, we have one more paid dare
All right.
because we've sold our soul to the universe. And I won't tell you what that film is, but trust me when I say it's going to be a super rage that's following up Frailty. So.
All right. So Frailty, the only thing that I know is that it's on Prime.
Yes. And that's all
Okay.
that really matters.
All
You're
right.
talking about the 2012 version, not the 2001 one.
Yeah, it's not
The 2001 is Paxton and McConaughey.
Yeah, it's not that one.
Okay, that's the one that I was like, all right, that wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that
Yeah.
bad.
Apparently, that's not the one. So I'm hoping this one's just as terrible.
Look at that.
All
Oh,
right, then.
people. I love our listeners.
Yes.
Especially Scott this week. I got a big shoot the flick boner going on now.
No, he did well. Well played. Well played.
All right. Well, thanks again, Ragers, for listening. Special rage love to James and Julene from It Goes Down in the PM. Thanks to the extended Film Rage crew of Leonard Cullen for his artistic vision of photography via Leonard Cullen Photography, for Bex Goose for her animation and artistic skills at Potato Lady podcastreviews.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. See what we look like on YouTube channel by searching Film Rage Podcast. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment often everywhere you feel, including sending us an email at filmragecalgary@gmail.com, on Podchaser and Apple Podcasts. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage like our buddy Scott just did. But no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please, please. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.
Rage on.